The phone rang at 7:45 on a Thursday morning, 8 months after I buried my husband. I was standing at the kitchen window of our lake house, watching the sun turn the water silver, holding Thomas's coffee mug like I did every morning since he'd been gone. The mug was empty, but the ritual helped. "Mrs. Whitmore, this is Andrew Chen, your husband's attorney. I need you to come to my office today. There's been a development concerning the lakehouse property." My hands started shaking. The coffee mug slipped, but I caught it just before it hit the floor. "What kind of development?" "Your daughter and son-in-law filed papers yesterday. A forced sale petition. They're claiming you can't maintain the property and that keeping it is financially irresponsible." His voice dropped lower. "Mrs. Whitmore, this is important. Don't tell Vanessa or Marcus that I called. Your husband left instructions for exactly this situation. Can you be here by 11? I looked around the lake house that Thomas and I had built 42 years ago. Every beam, every stone in the fireplace, we'd chosen together. This was where we'd raised Vanessa, where she'd learned to swim, where we'd celebrated every Christmas. They want to force me to sell our home? There's more. Much more. I'll explain when you get here. And Mrs. Whitmore?" He paused. "Bring any documents they've asked you to sign recently, even if you didn't sign them." After I hung up, I sat down hard on the kitchen chair. My daughter, my Vanessa, my baby girl who used to make me dandelion crowns and promise she'd live here forever, that she'd never let anyone take the lake house away. I thought about the past few months, the strange incidents, the things that made Marcus shake his head and Vanessa look at me with that new expression, the one that said she was worried about me, worried about my mind. The boat. I'd supposedly left it untied, and it had drifted across the lake. Marcus found it 3 hours later. The water heater. It had flooded the basement. Marcus said I'd turned off the emergency shutoff valve, though I had no memory of touching it. The property tax. The county sent a final notice because the payment was 3 months late. Vanessa showed me the unpaid bills in my desk drawer, but I'd always paid on time, always. The prescription refills. I'd supposedly called to cancel them, then forgotten, then run out of my blood pressure medication. Vanessa had to drive me to the emergency clinic. The checkbook. $2,300 in checks I couldn't remember writing. Marcus said I was being forgetful, that it was normal for someone my age living alone. "Maybe it's time to think about something smaller, Mom," Vanessa had said last week, holding my hand like I was a child. "The lake house is too much for you. All these mistakes. We're worried." I'd pulled my hand away. "I'm not making mistakes. Something's wrong, but it's not me." "Oh, Mom, that look again, pity mixed with frustration. We just want you safe." Now I understood. They didn't want me safe. They wanted the lake house. I drove to Andrew Chen's office in Minneapolis, my mind spinning. The law firm was in one of those glass towers downtown, all chrome and marble. Andrew was younger than I expected, maybe 45, with kind eyes and a gentle voice that reminded me a little of Thomas. "Mrs. Whitmore, please sit down," he gestured to a leather chair across from his desk. "First, I want you to know that your husband anticipated this exact scenario." "Thomas knew?" My voice came out as a whisper. He suspected. About 6 months before he passed, he came to me very upset. He'd overheard a conversation between Vanessa and Marcus. They were arguing about money, serious financial trouble. Marcus's commercial real estate business was failing. They'd taken out loans they couldn't repay, and Marcus said something that alarmed Thomas deeply. Andrew pulled out a file. He said, "That lake house is worth at least $800,000. Once the old man's gone, we'll convince her to sell. She's already getting forgetful. How hard can it be?" The words hit me like a physical blow. I pressed my hand against my chest. Thomas didn't confront them. He was afraid it would drive Vanessa away completely. But he took steps to protect you. Andrew opened the file. He installed security cameras throughout the lake house. Hidden ones. In every room, every entrance. Recording 24/7 to a cloud server that only I have access to. He put cameras in our home? In your home, Mrs. Whitmore. To protect you. He changed his will, too. The lake house cannot be sold without a court determining that you are genuinely unable to manage your affairs. And he left me very specific instructions to review the camera footage if anyone filed any petition or papers concerning your competency or the property. Andrew turned his computer monitor toward me. I reviewed the past 3 months of footage. What I found. He clicked play. The first video showed the dock at night. Marcus, wearing dark clothes, untying our boat and pushing it away from shore. The timestamp read 2:13 a.m., 3 weeks ago. The second video showed the basement. Marcus again, turning off the water heater's emergency valve, then opening the pressure relief valve. Water immediately started pouring out. He stood there for a full minute, making sure it would flood, then left. The third video was in my study. Vanessa sitting at my desk, taking the property tax bill from my inbox and putting it in a drawer. She did this 3 times over 3 months. The timestamps showed she did it the day before each bill was due. The fourth video showed Marcus on my phone in the kitchen, calling my pharmacy while I was outside. Yes, this is Eleanor Whitmore. I need to cancel my prescription refills. The fifth video was the worst. Vanessa at my desk, again, carefully writing checks in my checkbook, forging my signature. She practiced it several times on scrap paper first. $2,300 to cash. I couldn't breathe. I watched my daughter, my only child, the baby I'd nursed through colic and walked through nightmares and put through college, systematically destroying my credibility, making me look senile, making me doubt myself. "There's more," Andrew said quietly. "Recordings of conversations. Do you want to hear them?" I nodded, though I wasn't sure I could take any more. He played an audio file. Marcus and Vanessa in my living room, 3 months ago, while I was supposedly napping upstairs. "She's tougher than we thought," Marcus's voice. "Maybe we need to push harder, get her doctor to suggest a nursing home." "I don't know if I can keep doing this, Mark. She's my mother." Vanessa sounded tired. "Your mother is sitting on $750,000 while we're drowning. The bank is threatening foreclosure on our house, Vanessa. Our house, where our kids live. We've got $160,000 in credit card debt. My business is dead. This is our only way out." But making her think she's losing her mind. She's 70, babe. She'd probably be happier somewhere with people around, activities, nurses. We're doing her a favor, really. And we're saving our family. A long pause. Then Vanessa, quieter. "Okay, what's next?" I closed my eyes. Thomas had heard something like this. He'd known, and he hadn't told me because he'd hoped he was wrong, hoped that Vanessa would stop, hoped that love would win, but he'd prepared, just in case. "Thomas left you a letter," Andrew said, handing me an envelope. "He wrote it a week before he died." My hands trembled as I opened it. Thomas's handwriting, the slanted letters I'd seen on birthday cards and grocery lists for 43 years. "My dearest Eleanor, if you're reading this, then my worst fears came true. Vanessa and Marcus followed through with their plan. I'm so sorry, my love. Sorry that I didn't stop this while I was alive. Sorry that you have to face this betrayal alone. I installed the cameras because I needed proof, not just suspicion. I needed to protect you, but I also needed to give Vanessa a chance to prove me wrong. I prayed every day that she would stop, that she would choose you over money. I wanted so badly to be wrong about our daughter. But if you're reading this, I was right. And now, you know the truth. The lake house is yours, Eleanor. I've restructured everything so they can't touch it. But more than that, I want you to remember something. You are not losing your mind. You are not incompetent. You are strong and sharp and capable. Don't let them convince you otherwise. Fight for our home. Fight for yourself. You have everything you need. Andrew will help you. I love you forever. I'm watching over you, even now. Yours always, Thomas. I wiped tears off the letter, careful not to smudge his words. There's one more thing, Andrew said. The forced sale petition they filed? It includes a claim that you signed over power of attorney to Marcus 6 weeks ago. Did you? Absolutely not. I would never. I didn't think so. He pulled out a document. This is the POA they submitted to the court. It has your signature. The cameras show Marcus bringing you papers to sign 3 different times recently. Insurance updates, he called them. Property records. Do you remember signing anything? I thought hard. Maybe. He had a stack of papers, said it was just routine maintenance stuff for the lake house. Insurance, septic certification, dock permits. I was distracted. I just signed where he pointed. He buried the power of attorney in the middle. You signed it without knowing what it was. Andrew's jaw tightened. That's fraud, Mrs. Whitmore. It's also elder abuse. The word hit me like cold water. Elder abuse. My own daughter was abusing me. What happens now? I asked. Now we fight. Tomorrow there's a hearing on their petition. They're asking the court to appoint Marcus as your guardian and force the sale of the lake house within 90 days. But we have the evidence. All of it. Every video, every recording, every lie. We're going to expose them. I drove back to the lake house in a daze. When I got home, Vanessa's car was in the driveway. She was sitting on the porch, exactly where she used to sit as a teenager, reading in the afternoon sun. "Hey, Mom!" She smiled, bright and false. "I was worried when you weren't here. Where were you?" "Errands," I said carefully. "Shopping. Listen, Marcus and I want to talk to you about something. Can we come over for dinner tonight? It's important." "Of course, honey." I kept my voice steady. 6 o'clock? After she left, I walked through the lake house, seeing it with new eyes. The cameras were invisible. Thomas had hidden them in smoke detectors, picture frames, even the thermostat. Watching, recording, protecting me from beyond the grave. I went to our bedroom and sat on the bed we'd shared for 43 years. "Oh, Thomas," I whispered. "You knew. You knew, and you still hoped she'd change." That night, Vanessa and Marcus arrived with flowers and a store-bought pie. We made small talk through dinner, but I could see Marcus watching me, evaluating. Looking for signs of incompetence he could report to the court. "So, Mom," Vanessa started as I served the pie, "we've been thinking, the lake house is a lot for you. All the maintenance, the expenses, the winter weather. What if there was an easier option?" "What kind of option?" I played along. Marcus leaned forward, his salesman smile in place. "There's a beautiful senior community in Eden Prairie. Maintenance-free, activities, people your age. You'd love it. And selling the lake house would give you plenty of money for a nice apartment there, plus extra for travel, whatever you want." "You want me to sell the lake house?" I looked at Vanessa. "We want you to be safe and happy, Mom. And lately, with all the little incidents, the boat, the flooding, the bills, we're worried. This place is just too much." "Those incidents weren't my fault." Vanessa reached across the table, her hand covering mine. "Mom, I know it's hard to admit when we need help, but forgetting to tie up the boat, turning off valves, missing bills, these are warning signs. We just want what's best for you." I pulled my hand away. "I'm not selling the lake house." Marcus's smile slipped. "Eleanor, be reasonable. We've already done some research. The property could sell for $750,000, maybe $800,000. You'd have more than enough for a comfortable retirement. You seem to know a lot about what my property is worth." "We're trying to help," Vanessa said, her voice tight. "Why are you being so stubborn?" "Because this is my home." I stood up. "And I'm not senile, I'm not incompetent, and I'm not selling. Thank you for dinner. You should go now." Marcus stood too, his face hardening. "You know what, Eleanor? We tried to do this the nice way. But if you won't listen to reason, we'll let the court decide. We filed papers today. There's a hearing tomorrow, and when the judge sees the evidence of your declining mental state, he'll agree that someone needs to take control of your finances. Get out of my house." "It won't be your house much longer," Marcus said as they left. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the porch in Thomas's chair, wrapped in his old cardigan, watching the stars reflect on the lake, the same stars we'd watched together for 40 years. The hearing was at 9 a.m. in Dakota County. I wore my Navy suit, the one I'd worn to Thomas's funeral. Andrew met me outside the courtroom. "Are you ready?" he asked. "I don't know. What if they bring up all the incidents? What if the judge believes them? They're going to bring them up. That's their entire case. But we have the truth, Mrs. Whitmore, and the truth is powerful." The courtroom was small, wood-paneled, with high windows that let in slanted morning light. Marcus and Vanessa sat with their lawyer, a sharp-looking woman in an expensive suit. They didn't look at me. The judge was a black woman in her 50s with intelligent eyes and a no-nonsense expression. "This is a petition for emergency guardianship and forced property sale," she began. "Mr. Holloway, you're representing the petitioners?" Their lawyer stood. "Yes, Your Honor. Marcus and Vanessa Holloway are deeply concerned about Mrs. Eleanor Whitmore's declining mental capacity. Over the past 3 months, there have been numerous incidents demonstrating her inability to manage her affairs or maintain her property safely. He went through the list: the boat, the flooding, the unpaid bills, the medication, the checks. Each one presented as evidence of my failing mind. They had photos, documents, even a statement from a neighbor who'd seen the boat drifting. And most concerning, Your Honor, the lawyer continued, Mrs. Whitmore has become paranoid and accusatory toward her own family. When her daughter tried to help her manage her finances, Mrs. Whitmore claimed she was being set up. This level of suspicion and inability to recognize one's own limitations is classic cognitive decline. Marcus testified first, his voice grave and concerned. I love my mother-in-law. This is so hard for our family. But when I found the boat untied, when the basement flooded, I realized Eleanor needs more help than we can give her at home. The lakehouse is isolated. If something happened, if she fell or forgot her medication, it could be hours before anyone found her. We're terrified we'll get a call that something terrible has happened. Then Vanessa. My daughter walked to the witness stand in a conservative dress, her eyes red-rimmed. She'd been crying. My mother has always been my hero, she said, her voice breaking. Strong, independent, capable. Watching her struggle like this is breaking my heart. I've tried to help, but she won't accept it. She keeps saying someone is doing things to make her look bad, but Your Honor, there's no one else. It's just her in that big house. And she's not safe anymore. She was good. She was very good. I saw the judge's expression soften with sympathy. Mrs. Whitmore has refused to consider assisted living or even having a caregiver, Vanessa continued. She insists she's fine, even though the evidence clearly shows she's not. We don't want to do this. But we have to protect her, even if she's angry at us for it. When it was my turn to testify, my voice shook at first. I did not forget to tie up the boat. I did not flood the basement. I did not miss paying my bills or cancel my prescriptions. Someone made those things happen to make me look incompetent. Mrs. Whitmore, the judge said gently, who would do such things? My daughter and her husband. To force me to sell the lake house so they can have the money, Vanessa gasped. Marcus shook his head sadly. Their lawyer stood. Your Honor, this is exactly the kind of paranoid delusion we've been describing. These false accusations against family members who are only trying to help. Sit down, counselor, the judge said. Mr. Chen, do you have evidence supporting Mrs. Whitmore's claims? Andrew stood. Yes, Your Honor. Substantial evidence. I'd like to call into evidence a series of video recordings made by Mrs. Whitmore's late husband, Thomas Whitmore, who installed security cameras throughout the property before his death 8 months ago. The courtroom went silent. I saw Marcus go pale. Vanessa grabbed his arm. Your Honor, we'll need a screen, Andrew said. For the next hour, the courtroom watched. The footage of Marcus untying the boat, the flooding, the hidden bills, the forged checks, the phone call to the pharmacy, and finally, the audio of their conversation, Marcus and Vanessa planning it all. She's sitting on $750,000 while we're drowning, making her think she's losing her mind. We're doing her a favor, really. Vanessa was crying, real tears this time. Marcus stared at the floor. Mr. Chen, the judge said, her voice cold. Do you have the complete recordings? Yes, Your Honor. 3 months of continuous footage. I've also prepared a timeline showing each incident. The petitioner's claim demonstrates Mrs. Whitmore's incompetence, matched with video evidence of them staging those incidents. The judge turned to Marcus and Vanessa's lawyer. Do your clients wish to address this evidence? The lawyer looked at her clients. Vanessa was shaking her head, crying into her hands. Marcus just sat there, frozen. Your Honor, the lawyer said, I'd like to request a recess to consult with my clients. Denied. I've seen enough. The judge's voice was sharp. Petition for guardianship is dismissed. Petition for forced sale is dismissed. Mrs. Whitmore retains all rights to her property and person. She paused, looking at Marcus and Vanessa with an expression of pure disgust. Furthermore, I am referring this matter to the Dakota County Attorney for investigation of elder abuse, fraud, and forgery. What I've witnessed today is one of the most reprehensible cases of elder exploitation I've seen in 20 years on the bench. You attempted to steal from this woman. You gaslit her. You made her doubt her own sanity. And you did it to your own mother." Vanessa sobbed. "Your Honor, please, I'm so sorry. You'll have the opportunity to explain yourself to the prosecutor." The judge turned to me. "Mrs. Whitmore, I'm sorry you had to endure this. I'm ordering a restraining order preventing Marcus and Vanessa Holloway from contacting you or coming within 500 feet of your property. This court is adjourned." I don't remember walking out of the courthouse. Andrew guided me to his car, talking about next steps, criminal charges, civil lawsuits. But all I could think about was Thomas. He'd known, and he'd protected me anyway. He'd given me exactly what I needed to fight back, even though it meant I'd have to learn the horrible truth about our daughter. I drove back to the lake house alone. The afternoon sun made the water sparkle gold. I walked down to the dock and sat at the end, my feet dangling over the edge like they had 1,000 times before. "You saved me," I whispered to Thomas. "To the lake, to the sky. Even after you were gone, you saved me." That night, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Mom?" Vanessa's voice, broken and small. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know you probably never want to hear from me again, but I need you to know it wasn't supposed to be like this. We were going to lose everything. Our house, the kids' school. Marcus was desperate and I went along with it. But making you doubt yourself, watching you question your own mind, she was crying so hard I could barely understand her. That wasn't me. That wasn't who I wanted to be, and I can't take it back. I can never take it back." I said nothing. "I loved growing up in that lake house," she continued. "Every summer, every Christmas. You and Dad made it magical, and I destroyed that. I destroyed us. I'm going to spend the rest of my life regretting this. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just needed you to know that I'm sorry, and that I know what I did was unforgivable." She hung up. I sat there holding the phone for a long time. Part of me wanted to call her back, to tell her I forgave her, to fix everything like I'd fixed her problems when she was small. But I couldn't. Some things are too broken to fix. The next few months were complicated. The county attorney charged Marcus with fraud and elder abuse. Vanessa was charged too, but offered a plea deal because she cooperated fully. She'd have to do community service and pay restitution, but no jail time. Marcus faced up to 5 years. Their marriage didn't survive. Vanessa filed for divorce 2 months after the hearing. She moved into an apartment in Street Paul with the kids. Marcus's business went bankrupt. They lost the house anyway. I stayed in the lake house. Andrew helped me find a property manager to handle maintenance, and I hired a cleaning service to come twice a month. I wasn't going to let anyone say I couldn't manage. But the loneliness was harder now. Before, when I was alone, I'd had the memory of Thomas's love to comfort me. Now I had that, but also the wound of Vanessa's betrayal. Both were real. Both were true. 6 months after the hearing, on what would have been Thomas's 70th birthday, I was sitting on the porch when a car pulled up. Vanessa got out. She stood by her car for a moment, then slowly walked up the path. "I know there's a restraining order," she said, stopping at the bottom of the porch steps. I called the court. They said I could petition to have it modified. "I wanted to ask you first, before I filed anything. I wanted to ask if you'd ever want to see me again." She looked different. Thinner. Older. Like she'd aged 5 years and 6 months. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," she continued. "I'm not even asking you to trust me. I miss you, Mom. And I know I have no right to miss you, not after what I did. But I do." I looked at my daughter, my baby girl, and felt 1,000 contradictory emotions. Love, anger, grief, disappointment, longing. "Did your father know?" I asked. "How much you needed the money?" "He knew Marcus's business was struggling. I don't think he knew how bad it was. We were too proud to ask for help." She wiped her eyes. "That's not an excuse. There is no excuse. But yes, he knew we were having problems. He offered to help once. Marcus refused. Said we'd figure it out ourselves. You could have asked me." "I know. But by the time it got really bad, after Dad died, Marcus had this plan. And I was so scared of losing our house, so scared of what would happen to the kids. It seemed like the only way. She looked at me with Thomas's eyes. That's what I tell myself. But the truth is, I chose money over you. I chose saving my house over protecting my mother, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life. We sat in silence. A fish jumped in the lake. Somewhere a loon called. I'm in therapy, Vanessa said, twice a week, learning about boundaries and integrity and how financial stress doesn't justify abuse. The kids are in therapy too. They know what I did. They're ashamed of me. My own children are ashamed of their mother. Maybe that's good, I said. Maybe that's how they learn not to make the same mistakes. Maybe. She started to turn away, then stopped. Dad left you that letter, the one about the cameras. Did he? Did he leave anything for me? I thought about the locked box in Thomas's study that Andrew had given me after the hearing. Inside was a letter addressed to Vanessa. I'd read it once, then put it away. Wait here, I said. I brought the letter out. Vanessa took it with shaking hands. Don't read it now, I told her. Read it when you're ready. And Vanessa? I'm not ready to modify the restraining order. I'm not ready to have you in my life again. But maybe someday, if you do the work, if you really change, maybe someday, she nodded, clutching the letter to her chest. Thank you, Mom. That's more than I deserve. I watched her drive away, then went back inside. The lake house was quiet, filled with memories both beautiful and broken. That night, I read Thomas's letter to Vanessa one more time. He'd written it the same day he wrote mine. My dearest Vanessa, if you're reading this, you went through with it. You tried to take the lake house from your mother. I'm disappointed. More than disappointed. I'm heartbroken. Because I raised you to be better than this. I raised you to value people over property, family over finances. But I also understand desperation. I understand fear. I understand making terrible choices when you're backed into a corner. So here's what I want you to know. You can come back from this. Not easily. Not quickly. But you can rebuild yourself into someone your children will be proud of, someone you can be proud of. It starts with taking responsibility. Not excuses, not explanations, just, I did this, it was wrong, I'm sorry. Then comes the hard part. Living with what you've done, making different choices every day, proving through actions, not words, that you've changed. Your mother is the strongest person I've ever known. She survived losing her parents young. She built a life with me from nothing. She raised you with more love than I thought possible. She'll survive this too. The question is, will you? Will you let this define you forever? Or will you use it as the moment you chose to become better? I hope you choose the latter. Because despite everything, despite what you've done, you're still my daughter. And I still love you. But love isn't enough. You have to earn back trust. You have to earn back respect. You have to earn back your mother. Do the work, Vanessa. Do the work. Love, Dad. I folded the letter and put it back in the box. Thomas had known exactly what would happen, and he'd prepared for it. Cameras for me, words for Vanessa, protection and possibility, both. I walked out to the dock and stood looking at the water, at the stars reflected like diamonds on the surface. The lake house was still mine. My mind was still sharp. My life was still my own. But the cost had been high. The cost had been my daughter. Was it worth it? I asked Thomas's memory. Knowing the truth, was it worth it? The lake didn't answer. But somewhere deep inside, I knew the answer was yes, because Thomas had given me something more valuable than the lake house, more valuable than money or property or even family. He'd given me the truth, and with the truth, I could make real choices. I could protect myself. I could rebuild my life on solid ground, not on the quicksand of doubt and manipulation. I could be free. The lake house lights glowed warm behind me as I walked back up the dock. Tomorrow I'd wake up, make Thomas's coffee, and watch the sunrise. I'd live my life, sharp and capable and strong. And maybe, years from now, if Vanessa really did the work, really changed, really earned it back, maybe I'd forgive her, but not today. Today, I would simply be grateful. Grateful for Thomas's love, grateful for his protection, grateful for the cameras that saved me and the truth that set me free. I locked the door behind me, turned off the lights, and went to bed in the house that was mine, all mine, forever mine. And in the darkness, I could almost hear Thomas whisper, "I told you, you're stronger than you think, Eleanor. You always have been."